one of the highlights was also watching the next Tkachuk, and that would be Brady Tkachuk, who joins us on the phone right now. Brady, thanks so much for taking the time to join us. Let's start with this big tournament you just came off of. What was it like for you to take part in the World Junior Summer Showcase?
Yeah, it was definitely awesome. You know, you're playing against the best. So it was, and also you get to kind of reconnect with friends you played with growing up. So no, it was a great week.
Brady, you're going to your father's alma mater, Boston University. Your brother Matthew went and played junior hockey in London. What was your factoring in to go into the college route?
Yeah, my main goal is to make it to the NHL, and it's a league full of men, and I kind of want to play against men this upcoming year. So that was kind of my main factor going to BU.
So, Brady, do you think that the development program in Ann Arbor was a big step, obviously, for you in the same way that Matthew did, and so many of your friends that grew up in St. Louis have gone through that program?
Yeah, it was definitely one of the best 2 years of my life, and you know, you got to play with the best every day, you got to practice, work out, and you got to kind of treat yourself like a pro, and like the nutrition was key off the ice, so. No, it was definitely a great experience.
Brady, we know all about your dad, Keith Tkachuk, and the incredible NHL career that he had. Looks like your brother Matthew is off to a wonderful, illustrious career of his own with the Calgary Flames. But a lot of people are keeping their eye on you, too, because you're something special. What have you learned from watching Matthew in his first few years in the league?
You know, just kind of, we usually text every day, so he just kind of tells me, like, how his day is going and what he's got planned, so. I've kind of learned from him a lot, you know, how he works every day and how he carries himself off the ice. And yeah, he's not afraid to get under some guys' skins out there. And I try to learn from that. And now he's been a great tool about learning from it.
Brady, how would you compare your playing style compared to your dad Keith and your brother Matthew? Is it similar, or do you have some differences?
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar. We all like to be kind of around the net in the tough areas. For my brother, I just like how he plays in front, and like he makes smart plays by the net. So I try to take a lot from that, and kind of try to take from my dad's little feistiness and aggressiveness, and not afraid of anybody.
No scraps in your family growing up, I'm sure, huh, Brady?
Right.
Yeah, maybe a couple.
Now, obviously, we've seen you in a lot of photos right now, and you wore number 7 at the showcase, as you have that your dad wore. But you're going to BU. What's the number you're going to wear so everybody can get on board and grab your sweater?
27.
Good for you. That's a good number. It's a menacing number. It's going to be one that's going to be in the front of the net, because every highlight we showed from the showcase was you in front of the net. So no surprise there.
Yeah, yeah, no surprise.
So I know you just got done playing for Team USA, and you already talked about what an honor it was to wear the red, white, and blue. Do you have any hopes to play at the World Juniors for Team USA?
Yeah, that's been a dream of mine for a long time, and you know I've always kind of focused on that, and I've been working for a while now. So yeah, that'd be a huge honor to be able to make that team.
Brady, we've talked so much around the NHL about the development, especially last year with 5 St. Louis natives going into the NHL draft, and Luke Martin this year as well, a high draft pick. Can you just discuss a little bit, because I know that Logan Brown was a top centerman on the showcase, and all the guys that you've grown up, Trent Frederick as well, and guys that might be a little bit older, but maybe the competitiveness in St. Louis and why that's been such a special place for you young players.
Yeah, you know, I've grew up playing with those guys, you know, and they're great friends of mine. But we always come back in the summer. We do skate, so it gets pretty competitive out there for some of the scrimmages. But no, it's always great seeing those guys.
And now the next step for you is college. We mentioned Boston University. I think you said you're calling in from there now. So what are you most looking forward to about the college experience?
You know, just kind of getting to know new people. It's kind of not as busy right now in the summer. Not a lot of people are here, but from what I've heard, when we get back in September, it's going to be pretty hectic around here with a bunch of new faces. So, you know, just that's what I'm probably most excited about. And from the hockey standpoint, the coaches here are unbelievable, and the team, we're looking really good next year. So it's going to be really exciting.
Brady, you're a high prospect, looking forward to the 2018 draft. How much do you look forward to that draft, and do you feel any kind of pressure following in the footsteps of your brother?
Not really. I mean, I kind of haven't really thought about it. It's a pretty long ways away, so I know I just try to just focus on every day, try to see what I can do better every single day, and yeah. But no, it would sure be pretty exciting that day.
Well, Brady, we look forward to what surely will be a fun career to watch in college and beyond. Thanks so much for taking the time, and good luck with moving weekend. That's always hectic.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
How cool to see, as you spoke to, the hockey lineage in St. Louis, but specifically the Tkachuk family. And I know you know his dad, Keith, real well. He must be so proud that both of his boys are looking so good. Yeah,
I'd have Keith go in there and help him moving some of that furniture as well. But I think the real hero in that family is Keith's wife, Chantel. To keep these boys all together like that, because that is a competitive group. They're obviously, you can listen to him. Very respectful. They've grown up in hockey rinks and in locker rooms, and you can tell by their demeanor and their professionalism, and that's one of the reasons why so many NHL teams want to have sons of NHL players.
Look at that. That's great stuff there.
Yeah, that's at the Olympics in Turin, and you can see that. Look at the grins on their faces. You see Matthew on the left there.
Looks the same.
Yeah. Great
That's
stuff.
awesome.
A great family. Just a wonderful family that they've been respected wherever they've gone.
Does baby girl play hockey too?
Yeah, Taryn, I'm sure she does.
Yeah.
Probably put her in front of the net, too. Get those elbows up like that. Kaboom, huh?
Keith was the prototypical
Wasn't he?
power forward when he played. What I find interesting is that Matthew chose the junior route.
Yeah.
To go to London, very successful there in junior. You play more games.
Yeah.
And
Under the Hunters.
Yeah, and under the
so
Hunters.
You're going to be prepared
very
for
good
pro hockey.
organization. Boston University, very well coached team, and going there. But he decides to go the university route.
Yeah.
And so a different route for both of the kids. If you see Matthew have success as a younger brother, sometimes you think, well, maybe that's the way I should go. But he's going to be his own man. Going to go his own process and does what he feels right for himself. And I got to give Keith some credit there.
Of course.
Lets its kids, hey.
Yeah, everyone's got to make their own decision.
Make your own decision. Let's choose where you want to go. And wherever you feel most comfortable, go for it.
Well, and from the Boston area, of course, the Tkachuk family. But look at the cousins of Matthew and Brady. Tom Fitzgerald, former NHLer. Jimmy Hayes and Kevin Hayes. They're cousins. That's a big family there. So he'll be well taken care of, and he'll be fed.
Yeah. Tom Fitzgerald was my roommate for 7 years in Florida.
There you go, yeah.
Very good, very
You're
good.
saying having hockey in your DNA doesn't always hurt your NHL chances. Yeah.
Never hurts.
Tony Granato has been named the head coach of the 2018 Team USA in Pyeongchang come February. He is kind enough to join us now on the phone. And Coach, first things first, what was your reaction to finding out that you would be bench boss for Team USA?
Well, when you get a call like that, you kind of pinch yourself and say, wow. And I was obviously I was thinking about the Olympics, and you have the dreams when you go to bed at night saying, man, I wonder what they're going to do for staff and what I would do to be on that bench or part of the staff or management team or whatever. And then when Jim Johansson called a few weeks back, he caught me by surprise. We had talked the week before about some of our players for the World Junior Tournament, and I thought he was returning a call about the World Junior players, and he offered the position to me and said he wanted me to be his guy. I said, wow, this is a tremendous honor and something that I will do everything I can to make sure that we represent our country the way it's always represented. And I'm very fortunate because the staff that we've been able to put together in a very short manner there with Chris Chelios and Scott Young and Keith Lane and Ronnie Rolston. All of us have had a ton of international experience. We've either played or participated in many, many world championships and Olympics and World Juniors and everything else. And this being a short tournament, and this being a tournament with the amateurs again or non-NHL players, there's a lot that's going to go into the planning and getting ready for this tournament. And I think with the experience that we have on the staff, we'll get our guys ready to play. We'll get them ready to compete and represent our country the way we always do. It's a fun, exciting team that will have a chance to do well and medal and and that's what we'll be doing in the next 6 months, getting ready for that.
Tony, you have experience. You were a player in 1988 when there was no NHL players. You were an assistant in 2014 with NHL players. Back to having no NHL players. Talk about the challenges of going out there and recruiting and finding players not having NHL experience.
Well, I think the one thing, Billy, it's different now than even in '88. I think just as the years have gone on, our game in the United States has grown so much. So our depth at this point, I think, is at its best. I think we have so many players playing internationally, collegiately, in the American Hockey League that will be available to us. You'll be surprised at the amount of talent and skill that we'll have on this team. So I think when you say, well, Kane can't play and Quick can't play and Suter can't play and this and that, there's plenty of other players out there that will represent our country and give us a chance to win. And I think it's an exciting time for those players. I think what the difference might be is these guys will be getting up and gearing up as the season goes along to be at the peak of their performance during the year. I think in the NHL schedule with how grinding that is, and you basically pack your bag up from your NHL team and you land in, like we did, Sochi, you unpack and you're on the ice playing a game. At least we got a little bit of time to build some peak performance type of a schedule together that our players will hopefully be at their best in February. And like I said, I think it's going to be an outstanding Olympics. I think it's there's so many teams that will have competitive teams, and I know Canada will do a great job on getting their country ready to play. And then, of course, Sweden, Finland, Russia, and Czechs, those are all powerhouses when it comes to international play. So it'll be exciting.
Tony, how will your experience now coaching on big ice surface help you be an Olympic coach? I'm sure there's got to be a little bit of a different strategy on a 100 by 200 ice surface versus a regular NHL surface.
And that's a great point by you, Panger, because it is a different game. I think the experiences that our coaching staff that I mentioned earlier, I think together we played, I think it's hundreds of games internationally on those big sheets of ice. So we'll have to draw from those experiences. And the other positive thing is the players that are playing in Europe right now in the professional leagues, they'll probably make up the majority of our team. So they're already playing on the big sheet. So it's somewhat of an advantage for those guys already playing on that sheet. They know the systems and the different types of play that needs to be to help them get ready for it. So we're in the planning process now. Obviously, you don't really want to determine how your team's going to play until you know the personnel of it. So from a coaching perspective, we're evaluating the players that are going to be available to us. We'll put together a nice roster, like I said, that'll have a lot of talent, and then we'll go about deciding what our style will be and how we'll play as far as the systems go once we identify who those players will be.
Tony, two quick questions for you. One, how many times do you plan on watching the movie Miracle in the next 6 months?
Yeah.
And two, you mentioned Chris Chelios is going to be part of your coaching staff. Do you think he's going to try to play on this team too?
Yeah, I'm going to go right to the second question because when I talked to Chris the first time, I could see what was going through his mind, because I think I could see him thinking, I think I can do this one more time. And he is just Panger, you play with him, and Billy, I don't think you ever played with him. You played him against him enough to know what kind of competitor he is and how much he loves the game of hockey. And he's worn the Olympic sweater, I think it's 4 times, and then he's played in multiple World Championships, World Cups, and all these international things. He would do anything to get out there one more time. So he'll probably put the equipment on once we get to. We're going to go to Germany for a pre-tournament in November. It wouldn't surprise me if he brings his bag there and jumps on the ice. So it's just exciting to have him alongside. He'll be a big impact on our team, and obviously I'm thrilled to be working with him. And that first question, I was so excited about talking about Chris, I forgot what that first question was.
Oh, the Miracle on Ice. How many times are you going to watch it? And do you have any Herb Brooks speeches in mind?
No, but you know what's great for me is Mark Johnson is the women's coach right here at the University of Wisconsin. So I get to see Mark every day. So I get the reminders of that 80 team over and over by getting a chance to be around Mark all the time. But that movie is spectacular. It's really what put USA Hockey on the map, because at that time we had very few players playing in the NHL. We had very few players that were respected by NHL teams to be drafted high, and most of the teams in the NHL were built on Canadians and a few sprinkled in Americans and international players. But but that really gave us a chance and really was the big boost for American hockey to get our programs going. And so we're very aware of their contribution. It'll probably be something that all the players that are picked for our team will be reminded of by their parents and grandparents, because I don't think our guys that will be picking will have been around for that. But obviously, I've seen it a lot of times, and I'll probably watch it again a lot of times.
And Tony, Chris Chelios was actually pretty critical of Team USA at the World Cup, was outspoken how they played. Talk about what you want to implement on this team and how you want this team to play.
Well, right now, again, we're going to wait until we pick our team to identify what our strengths will be. I think you always, before you can determine how you want to play, you want to see what kind of players you have. But I think the American way is to be aggressive. It's to skate. It's to play a game of passion and energy. And the players that we have on our list of players that we're going to be looking at to have on our roster are those type of players. So we might be smaller, but we'll be quick. And I think wearing your flag on your chest, or however you want to say it, whatever it is, we will play with passion and energy, a lot like I think the guys on our bench played their games when they played and represented our country. And it's going to be a wonderful experience for all of us. And I think that, like I said, it'll be a competitive tournament, but we'll go in there thinking in our minds and believing that we can be a team that can have a great tournament and come out of there with a medal.
Yeah, you hear the crowd certainly happy to have Sharp and Saad back, and they're hoping it is a happy reunion indeed, going back to the Blackhawks. But back to what Patrick Kane said, do you think this team is better on paper, adding those two guys, but taking away big names like Niklas Hjalmarsson and Artemi Panarin?
No, go. I don't personally.
Don't anyone go.
I don't think they're better personally.
Defensively, losing Hjalmarsson is very, very significant. He was obviously a guy that was relied upon in so many critical situations. A shot blocking machine, a guy that went up against the other team's best on the penalty kill, crucial minutes on the blue line. And don't mistake, Connor Murphy's a fine young player, but he doesn't play the same way that Hjalmarsson plays the game. So you look at that aspect of it. They got younger on the blue line, but they changed that dynamic and that identity on the blue line in front of their goaltender, Corey Crawford. Kempny's he played a little bit more minutes last year. Forsling's a very interesting player. He's got some high-end skill. You've got the veteran in Roosevelt, so you got three righties, and you got the three lefties on that side, and then you got Rule right there as well. But I would say on the defensive side of it, I think they'll very much miss what Hjalmarsson brought to the table.
And I think offensively up front, it's a lot of what ifs. Brandon Saad comes in. The chemistry with Panarin and Kane, you just don't find that very often.
It was special.
It was electric, and it was special. That's not going to be there. So I think Patrick Kane is going to miss a hole. You can see what they were able to do together. Patrick Kane assisted on 71% of Panarin's goals, which is a ridiculous number. And then Panarin, 38% of Kane goals and 35 of 65 overall, 53%. They were a dynamic duo in the league. One of the best duos in the NHL. They don't have that anymore. And you bring in Brandon Saad, who's a good player, a 50-point guy, but Panarin is a 70-point guy. That's hard to replace. So I think they lose some offensively. And you're going to have to look at some of these young players. Are they going to be able to step up? A Tanner Kiro, Hinostroza, Ryan Hartman, John Hayden. You got this Alex DeBrincat, who had 127 points last year.
Right out of Major Junior A.
In Erie.
It's a lot to ask.
Yeah, but not all of them, but a couple of these players are going to have to step up.
Nick Schmaltz.
And be a top six forward.
Yeah.
And play on those top two lines and produce to try and pick up that lack of production. How much does Patrick Sharp have left in the tank? 35 years old,
but he was
injured
last year.
18 points.
You could tell he couldn't get around the ice quite as well. Does it matter, Billy? I believe it's going to matter that Panarin was a right-hand shot playing the left side. Patrick Sharp has evolved as a left winger that plays the right side. And maybe Patrick Kane and Sharp can get that going together, and maybe Saad and Taves can balance out, because they're going to need a little bit more offense from Jonathan Taves as well. He's asked to do so much on the defensive side of the puck. Yeah. There's more to his game than that, and I think they've got to free him up a little bit as well.
The key word you just said, maybe.
Yep.
And if.
Yeah.
Maybe if.
Well,
There's a lot of question marks with this Blackhawk teams, more so than I think than we've ever had in the past. They're always battling salary cap issues. That's why you see a lot of these trades, and they're trying to maneuver so they can stay under the salary cap.
And they lost Kruger.
But
Las
moving
Vegas.
forward,
we
going
talk
forward,
about
so
Larry and Hossa.
and Hossa being
not gonna
gone.
be gone, and that's a
And
tragedy.
you knew what you're going to
That's
get out
sad.
of these players. You know
Right.
what you're going to get. So coming back, I just don't think they are comfortable and 100% certain what they're going to get, even in their backup goaltending situation, what they have going forward. And they bring in a backup goaltender, Forsberg. They get in the trade from Columbus.
Pretty good backup
Yeah,
goaltender.
pretty backup goaltender, but they had a backup goaltender that went to Carolina, Darling, that was really good.
Couldn't afford to keep them both, though, bud.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. But there's just question marks now with this team that I think that is more so in the past. But you have Kane, you have Taves, Keith, Seabrook, you have the core intact, so you always have the possibility to win.
Always great to talk with a Stanley Cup champ, and makes us think about what we would do if we had the Stanley Cup. One day with the Cup, what would you do, Bill?
I would go back to where I played my minor hockey in the Kootenays and Fernie and Sparwood and make sure that I took it to the local rinks there and got a chance to share it with everyone in that part. And then I just think I would try and invite everyone that helped me along the way, as many people as I could, and just host a party and just try and spend the rest of the day, have it in a yard, a big yard somewhere.
Yeah.
And just have everyone that helped me along the way, as many people as I could think of.
Like that?
And there you go.
Down the
Yes.
river, down
Wow, I'm
the
in good
river.
shape right there. That's in my playing days. Nice.
Are you
That's a good Photoshop.
With the little-
And yeah,
Got a six-pack on the right over there.
I'd be floating down the river in the tube, maybe, yes. But I would try and get as many people involved.
In Montana?
In Montana, I'd probably take to Montana and just out in the yard and enjoy the days thoroughly as I could.
I think I would definitely do the first part that you said as well. I'd like to have a street hockey game with all your buddies, and you'd play for the Stanley Cup just as you did a kid, and have coaches along the way and family members as well. But I definitely have the Stanley Cup on the golf course because, as everybody knows, I do like to get on the links, and if possible, look at there I am right
Nice.
there. I've got the gold golf shirt on.
You put your clubs in it, right? You just keep your clubs.
No, there'd be plenty of beverages in there. There'd be no clubs in there
Would you have
whatsoever.
would you have a tournament for the day? Have a tournament?
That'd be the tournament. That'd be the championship.
No claret jug. No. I mean,
just
you're winning the
best trophy
You're winning the
in
Stanley
all of
Cup.
sports. It's even better than the claret jug.
Absolutely.
That is.
So
I mean,
that's what
I would probably just take it back to Minnesota because it's Minnesota. It's the state of hockey. That's where
been
you'd have
there.
to go.
Don't.
Well, Monday was Sidney Crosby's birthday and also his day with Lord Stanley's Cup. Very cool, taking it back to his hometown. So where is the Cup today? To answer that question, the expert and the keeper of the Cup, Phil Pritchard, joins us now. I always think this is just such a cool thing to talk to Phil because he's got the best stories. So, Phil, where in the world are you today?
Today, Davey, we're in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island with the strength and conditioning coach, Andy O'Brien from the Penguins. And as you said, we were in Halifax yesterday. We're doing the Maritimes tour with the Cup this week. So it's some great scenes, great culture, and great food.
Back-to-back cups for the Pittsburgh Penguins. What have you seen differently in their days with the Cup this year compared to last year?
Well, you know what? It's amazing, guys, because obviously they're a year older, and for some guys it's their second Cup, some guys it's their third. Chris Kunitz is his fourth, so his day has changed a bunch over the years. Actually, he's married and has kids now, so the kids played a big role in his Stanley Cup day this year. Actually, they chose what they wanted to do, and like any parent with kids, you know, the kids always take the vacation away from everybody else. So Chris had a big pool party for his kids and all their buddies and that, and I thought it was great. And Chris and everyone had a good time, and the two-time winners or the three-time winners like Sidney and those guys did some different things. So I think it's, as they get older, I guess their days change a bit because it's more personal than that, and I think it's extra special for them.
Is that the part that you enjoy the most, Phil, is the uncertainty of what maybe a new player will do with the Cup versus an older player?
Well, it is, Darren, and I think that's what's great because, as you know, I mean, right across North America and around the world. All our cultures are different. So to see the guys in their hometowns back with their friends that they grew up with, it's a totally different scenario than when they're in Pittsburgh or wherever the champions may be. So it's always fun to see them relate back to their buddies and that, and their buddies don't care that they're hockey players or Stanley Cup champions. They're just their buddies to them, and it makes it so special.
That is so special. And certainly this is mostly a North American thing in large part for you, but this is also a global adventure that you're on, especially with the Pittsburgh Penguins. They have so many international players. So what's your favorite day been across the pond, so to speak, this time around?
Well, you know what is amazing? You talk about, Jamie, how global it is. 7 countries this year on the Penguins, not only U.S. and Canada, but Russia, Sweden, Finland, Germany, what am I missing? Switzerland. So we do go, the team is very global. I think it was really special for Mark Street. He had been in the league a long time, and he's kind of bounced around from team to team, but he found a place in Pittsburgh, and he fit in perfectly. And that's the opportunity for him to bring it back to Bern, Switzerland. For those listeners that have been to Bern, it's beautiful. And he had a great day for it, and it was just a spectacular day for him.
Philip, I got to ask, over there, the top 3 list of all time for yourself, what's been the best 3 celebrations that you've seen throughout your days with the Cup?
Top 3?
Yeah.
Well, without a doubt, Timo Solani's first. I don't even have to think about that one. After that, Sidney Crosby's done 3 now. His have always been awesome. He's always done a parade in this hometown, and yesterday he did 2 parades, one in Halifax, then we flew to Rimouski, and he did one with his junior team. So that was really special, and I really enjoyed that. Cristobal Huet is the only French player to ever win the Cup and take it back to France. That was pretty spectacular as well.
Phil, for all the times that you've experienced being with the players and being with the families, do you get choked up when you see these players bring it to children's hospitals and charities that they care about, and just the look on maybe some young boy that's suffering from cancer, some young girl, and their just eyes light up? Do you get choked up every time you see that?
Every time, Darren. You know what? And as we all know in the hockey world, the Stanley Cup's a pretty powerful trophy in the world of sport, and to use that to help some kids, it's pretty amazing. Today, actually, we did an event with Special Olympics in Prince Edward Island, and we took it to a farm, an island farm, and they had goats and alpacas. Actually, we tweeted a photo with an alpaca by the cup and that. But for the kids, they were so thrilled, and to put a smile on everyone's faces, especially kids that we can help in that, no matter what it is, whether it's the Cup or just anybody, it is pretty powerful, pretty emotional, and it's extra special every time.
That's great work you guys are doing. So what is next on this worldwide tour of Phil Pritchard and the Cup?
Well, we're after we finish off in Prince Edward Island today, we are driving back to Halifax and catching a flight east, believe it or not, still to St. John's, Newfoundland. Derek Clancy's one of the scouts for the Penguins. And then that finishes our maritime tour, and then we're heading up to Northern Ontario. Matt Murray, the goalie, he has it in Thunder Bay. And then we continue on from there. It's amazing. We're almost 2 weeks into August. We only have 2 weeks left on the tour. I think Matt Cullen he's the last player to get it back home in Minnesota.
That's great. We'll be sure to check in with you again at some point throughout your adventures. What a cool job, and thank you for taking the time. It sounds like there's a party in the back. We will let you get back to that.
There is.
Have a good one.
I'll have a lobster roll for you guys.
Oh, life is tough.
Tough job.
Thanks,
All right,
Phil.
guys. As always,
Thanks,
great
Phil.
to talk to you. Keep us posted. Bye-bye.
How about a little game of Crazy 8? Shall we call it that? It is the 8th day of the 8th month, so we figured let's talk some number 8s out there. There's a lot of good ones, but currently, let's go through the top 5 players to wear 8 on their sweater, starting with number 5, and you, Panger.
Well, let's go to the right-handed defenseman with the Winnipeg Jets and get a chance to see him a lot in the Central Division. How about Jacob Trouba? Obviously started slowly last year with holding out as a restricted free agent, got his deal signed, went back and had a real good second half. Can play with a little bit of an edge, and he wears that 8 with pride. This is a pretty darn good list that we've got right here.
Number 4.
And I will go with the University of Michigan. I'll stay there. Trouba, University of Michigan. Zach Werenski, University of Michigan. He came on board. Good rookie season with the Blue Jackets. He was impressive. 47 points, a +17. Quarterback, the power play. A big reason the Jackets had that big turnaround.
Okay, how about at number 3?
Some of the best hands in the National Hockey League. No one can tip pucks like this former University of Wisconsin star, Little Joe Pavelski. Love watching him play. And another great number 8. Boy, when he and Big Joe get it together, look out. Lights out right there. That guy's a skilled player.
But when you say grade 8, it reminds us of
the grade 8. The one we call Alex Ovechkin. And does he score a lot of goals over there on that side with that one-time blast, the quick wrist shots, and Ovechkin is the purest goal scorer that we've seen in a long, long time. Come along the NHL, knows how to find those open seams and still getting it done. Alex Ovechkin with the big blast as always.
Yet he might not be the greatest 8 because this guy might be.
We're taking Drew Doughty with the 2-time Stanley Cup champion and Norris Trophy winner. A couple of gold medals as well. He does it all on the blue line. And maybe he doesn't get as much notoriety as the guys in the East, but when you're starting a team on the blue line, you're starting with that number 8 right there because he's an all-world player.
So maybe players out there might want to, if they're choosing numbers right now, go with 8. There's a lot of good guys who have worn the number 8 over the years, but who would you say is the best player ever to wear number 8?
I'm going to go with Mark Recchi. There's Solani and Neil. I'm going to go Mark Recchi. This player was at it for a long, long time, and he won 3 Stanley Cups with 3 different teams in 3 different decades.
Wow.
Pretty amazing. The Wrecking Ball played over 1,600 games, a long, long career, and always was able to score clutch goals at big times. No matter what you needed, Mark Recchi was able to provide it because of his longevity and because of the Stanley Cup championships. I'm going with Recchi.
And even when he couldn't get number 8, you see, you were number 18 or 28. He always had an 8 on his back. And yeah, I remember when he played for the Muskegon Lumberjacks of the old IHL, for crying out loud. But
wow.
Going to the Hall of Fame is another great number 8. And I'm going to take Teemu Selanne. And I know at one point he did wear number 13 briefly, but I remember Teemu Selanne as number 8 for everything that he embodied as a personality, as a player with flair, as a player that treated people with great respect, and a guy that on the ice, who says nice guys finish last? That's a Stanley Cup champion, and he's a Hall of Famer wearing number 8.
Yeah, he is great. 8-8. Oriens.
And honorable mention, Cam Neely.
Oh, okay.
Didn't have quite the long career, but he was 10th all-time
And
in
a Hall
goals
of
per
Famer.
game, Hall of Famer. So Cam Neely belongs in that conversation.
Remind me your guys' numbers.
40.
40.
Number 11.
Number 11. And why? How do you get, I never got that. How do you guys come up with the numbers? Way
I
back
wore a
when.
few. I got traded a bit, so 11 was the longest. I got a few lists. I got a lot of jerseys at home.
And joining us now on the phone is one guy who recently had his day with the Cup champion, Jake Guentzel, currently in Minnesota. Jake, what has this summer been like as a Stanley Cup champion?
Yeah, it's been a lot different. I mean, you work for this your whole life, and a lot's changed over the couple months. So just trying to get back and get ready for next year. You know, it's going to be tougher.
Jake, take us back to the summer of 2016. What were you doing at this time last year getting ready for the season?
Yeah, you're just trying to work and get ready for your first pro season. You're not really sure what to expect going into it, but you knew they were coming off Stanley Cup, and you just try and just make your mark in training camp and get ready for that and try and get your foot in the door.
Jake, yesterday was your captain, Sidney Crosby's 30th birthday, and obviously the experience of playing with such great players. But what's one thing that you take from a guy like Sid on a day-to-day basis?
Just how he handles himself in practice and on game days. No matter what, if it's practice, he's always one of the first ones on the ice working on his games. It's the little things, and even when he's the best player in the world, he's trying to get better. So that's definitely a thing you notice and you want to implement into your game.
I'm not sure exactly when your day with the Cup was, but I wasn't too long ago. So can you take us through the day, where you took the Cup, what the reaction was like, the crowds, etc.?
Yeah, it was July 13th. Picked it up from the airport, went right to my hometown rink. There was probably about 2,000 fans there, so went through pictures and took it there. So that was cool. Put a lot of hours in there, and then a local bar and grill where my mom and we kind of spend a lot of hours for dinners and whatnot. So we had a kind of like a little with some hospital kids there, and met with some family and friends that kind of just before. Then with my best buddies, went golfing a little bit with my family and friends, and then we stayed at the golf course the whole night and had a little get together with everyone. So it was definitely a fun day for sure.
Jake, big reason you won the Stanley Cup was your chemistry with Sidney Crosby. How were you able to develop that chemistry, and what was the key to having that success, and what was your relationship like with Sidney Crosby?
Just like the communication that he has. I mean, from day one, I think he made me feel comfortable, and he just told me to play your game. Obviously, sometimes you kind of get caught staring and trying to get him the puck whenever you can at the start, but I think the biggest thing is he just told me to play my game and do what I did to help me get there.
We just saw a picture of you just prior to you talking about Sidney, Jake, with the Stanley Cup. And I think the first time I saw that Stanley Cup and really held it, and I know we're not supposed to touch it if you haven't won it, but I couldn't help myself. Was there a name or a team that you grew up and you just wanted to look at that team and see that actual name on there?
I don't know. You're so in awe of it when you see it. You're just kind of, it's almost a dream when you get your hands on it and you have the hold over your head. So, you just look at the team last year and what they did. So it's definitely cool to do that again this year.
You had an historic Stanley Cup final run, a whole Stanley Cup playoffs run, number of points that you put up as a rookie, historic. So how do you even follow that up? Is there any key that you're going to focus on to hit the ground running right away in October?
Yeah, I mean, it was a perfect season. So you just got to try and, it's going to be even tougher next year, and you have to train that much harder this year because, obviously, teams are going to be coming after us. So, obviously, it just kind of fuels you to get ready, and we're definitely getting excited to get the season started.
So how do the Pittsburgh Penguins, you made it back-to-back, first team to do back-to-back Stanley Cup champions since Detroit in the late 90s. How do you do it a third time in a row?
It's gonna be tough for sure, but with the leadership and that we have and the guys that we have, we have a chance. And obviously, I think we're all hungry for that, and to get a chance to do that, I think it's special.
Well, Jake, thanks so much for taking the time. Go enjoy the rest of what is a short summer for you guys, having to play in the mid-June, and we'll see you back on the ice shortly.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.